They choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Well, unfortunately, we've almost come to the end of the series now. We're going to go out on one last film, which is me parachuting for the first time.
Why did you do that then? Why did you choose parachuting?
I'm beginning to wonder. It's something I've always thought I'd like to do. And you know, you gaily sort of say a sport when someone asks you.
Yeah.
And I thought no more about it. The producer rang me up 2 days later and said, right, it's all fixed for next week. So having got that far, I couldn't really back
Dangerous
out.
man,
But it was
Ramsey.
wonderful. Well, to do that parachuting, I went down to Headcorn Airfield in Kent, where I met some real experts. And they showed me a film of them free-falling. And they taught me through the sport before I actually started my course.
Check that man out.
Oh, fabulous. That's your first formation. Yes. And then everybody breaks. That sort of makes my stomach.
Those men in the middle there, Fred.
Oh, look at that.
This is the first time, literally, you've seen this piece of film.
This piece, yes, yeah.
Great.
But we had
Don't you look good on film?
That's nice film.
I mean, your chute hasn't come up yet.
No, we're still
Presumably,
free falling.
When I do my jump today, my chute comes up
Immediately, yes.
immediately.
No, we're free falling for about 45, 50 seconds, and within that 50 seconds we get a 35-second working time. We're judged for 35 seconds.
Oh, I see.
And we've got to do as many formations as we can within that time slot.
That must seem like about a day, those 40 or 50 seconds.
Sometimes it does.
There's 9 of you lying on the floor, so you should be able to count 9 times as loud as I just did. And I want everyone over the other side to hear you. All right, you ready? On the word go, into the stable position and shout out the safety count. Go! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 1 not going to hear you. And we're going to write on your card, no count. Okay, remember there's a lot of noise when you leave the aircraft. We want to hear you count above it. Okay, and again. Go!
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy.
Okay, getting a bit better. All right, have another go. Go!
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy.
Great, up on your feet. Let's have the next lot of people on the floor.
And again, in position, go! Good, we're getting there. Go! Okay, left foot in position, go! That's not bad. In position, go! Come on, Anneka, keep up. Go! Good. Go! That's fine. Good. Okay, go! Fine. Okay, go! Fine. Next. Go! Good. Okay, go! Good. Next.
Arms straight. Go! Yeah, not too bad. You're landing with your legs apart. Okay, the other way this time.
Once he says in the door, he normally just slaps his head a leg, points at the door and says in the door. Take your hands away from your reserve, put them down next to your bum like that, and move directly forward into the centre of the door. Right? If you'd like to move back a little bit, please. Right? So you move from this position here, move directly forward, and put your feet out right in the centre of the door. Now there's a 70 miles an hour slipstream going past the door, so you point for your feet getting whipped away from you a little bit. Don't worry about it. Put your right hand down on the floor of the aircraft next to your right knee, with your thumb over the edge like that. Put your left hand up at the back of the door here, just where the shape of the door changes, like that. So you want to put your hand up there with all your fingers outside like that, and your thumb inside. I'll explain why we want it this way in a few minutes. You like the next bit? Then I want you to turn yourself round and face the way the aircraft is going. So from this point here, you turn round like that. Okay? Pretty simple. Your head's up like that, and on the command of go, you should of course, smiling for the cameras, force yourself away from the plane and go into a big stable spread. Can you move back a little bit and I'll show you exactly what I mean. From here, look up, go! 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy. Okay? Most of the force from the exit comes with your right hand here. Actually physically force away from the plane like that. You all with me? All the smiles have gone again. Right? It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now, in terms of speed, or real speed, this is how long it should take. In the door, go! Like that. Right? Just a couple of seconds. Any questions so far? You don't look convinced at all.
If you don't push yourself far enough away from the aeroplane, what happens?
Well, your canopy will still open.
If you just
but,
trickle out by mistake, what happens?
no matter what you do, trickle out. No matter what you do, no matter how you leave the aircraft, and I've seen some very strange ways of people leaving aircraft over the last 2 years, your canopy will always open, right? But you'll enjoy it much more if you do a nice big push away from the plane and adopt a nice big stable spread.
You can't be pushed back in.
Who's going to push you?
No, I mean the wind. I mean the wind.
Oh, the wind won't push you back in.
Or the plane be gone by then.
No, the plane will still be there. It's just that you'll be gone. Right.
Go! 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy.
Good.
Go!
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy.
Go!
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000.
Fine. Okay.
Go!
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy.
Okay, good.
Go! 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, check canopy.
Good. In the door. That's it. Look up.
Go! 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000.
Now, the way you do it is you put it over your shoulders, much like a rucksack, and you pull it right so it's high on your back. You don't want it really low down, that's uncomfortable. You want it very high on your back, so these silver boxes here fit into the indentations on your shoulders. Lean forward to keep it there, and do your leg straps up. These are leg straps. Left one goes round the left leg, right one goes round the right leg. Now, that may seem very obvious, but people get them muddled up. When you've done them up, tighten them up. And these buckles are designed so once you've tightened them, they can't come undone unless you actually turn them through 90 degrees. So once you've tightened them up, there's no way they're going to become loose again. And you do want them a little bit uncomfortable, fairly tight, especially the men, because if they're nice and comfortable on the ground, all right, they're a bit loose on the ground, when the parachute opens, they're suddenly going to tighten up for you. So have them a little bit tight on the ground, and then you won't have any problems in the air.
Oh gosh, do me an awful injury, you know. I think it's done me an awful injury.
Hold out your left hand. Bend forward.
Actually, Ian, I'm going to let you check him out. I'm going to go out to the airplane.
Okay, you checked.
Safe.
Right, turn around again.
Oh, right.
Okay, one hand across the reserve, and just hold it there.
Good luck.
Don't forget to move across.
Go!
me. Canopy's okay, fantastic! Oh my God, where am I? Oh, what a wonderful feeling, it worked. I forgot my 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And where am I? Oh, there's the cross. There's my toggles. Oh, let's see what happens if I go down here. Oh, this is the most fantastic feeling. But where am I? Let's try and go that way. Oh, I see. I want to go right over there. I want to get back into the wind so that I can come down on course. Oh, this is just the most incredible feeling in the world. Oh, God. Right, now. Oh, the others have got down okay. Oh, it's just fantastic. Oh, it's so calm. It seems to be taking an awful long time. I imagined it'd be over by now. Now, I'm at 200 feet. I'm going to get my legs together.
Okay, Anneka, keep facing my way. Pull down on your left toggle.
Okay, got you. Right, legs together. Don't forget, Annie, legs together. Annie. Here we go, this is it. Legs together, knees together. Oh my God, I've done it! I don't believe it! Oh! Oh, I've done it! I've done it! Oh, I don't believe it! Oh, that was fantastic!
Well, you're certainly not just a pretty face, girl. I'd say, watch it.
Oh, Winsor, actually, I must say, you've got to try a parachute jump. It's incredible. And I think the best thing about the particular course I did, we started at 9 in the morning, we'd finished at 5, and we all jumped at 6. And there was no time to sort of think, actually, perhaps I won't do it this week, I'll do it next week. And we'd all just sort of carried on with a momentum. And as you saw, all sorts of people doing that course. I think the oldest lady there was probably sort of 50s. The youngest was probably about 16. And it's a great way to spend a day, and you just feel wonderful at the end of it.
Marvellous.
I thoroughly
Really
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed that, but it was great.
But it's not a trick, is it? You don't really expect us to do this. I mean, you're only showing us how
Didn't you know
did
that
it.
was the idea of the series? No, everyone has to try everyone else's stuff. Didn't they tell you? But seriously, that is the end of the series. I hope some of our antics over the last 8 weeks hasn't totally put you off sport for life. We hope you've enjoyed yourself, and bye-bye from us all here now. That's all I can say.
Right. Now that we inspect the rudder, that's all right, my lovely.
Water.
Hello. You have to be national championship standards to do skydiving like that.
I'm here at Halfpenny Green to report on the competitions, and I'll also be talking to some of the women jumpers about why they'd like to start their own league. And if it all seems a bit daunting, don't worry. I'll be looking at how beginners can jump for the first time for free.
And I've been to Henley with the Agecroft 8 from this unusual Salford Rowing Club, who are much more interested in the rowing than the strawberries and cream. And here in Birmingham, you'll see an attempt to smash a 94-year-old 1-mile speed record on a high wheeler.
Red Devils, Twilight State, Army, Zaphod, Spider, Flash Trash, Trees and Dogs. These are some of the teams who took part in the British Parachute Association's National Championships, staged this year during the Wimbledon fortnight at the Halfpenny Green Skydiving Club near Wolverhampton. Over 100 competitors from around the country took part in the meet. Dave Hawerski is one of the championship organisers. So how many events are there?
In the entire nationals, we have style, accuracy, and relative work, both 4-way and 8-way, so there's 4.
And the accuracy is hitting a target. What about the other 2?
Style is turning a set sequence in the air as fast as you possibly can, which is, at the moment, consists of left turns and back loops joined together, and people compete against each other for the fastest possible times in that.
The second stages of the competition are the individual and team accuracy events. Bullseye. 0-0. Diamond, Zigzag, Caterpillar. These are the patterns and manoeuvres the 4-way jumpers must perform. They exit the aircraft at 9,000 feet and they have 35 seconds to perform the set moves.
The relative work is people joining together in the sky in various formations. That's split into 2 events, which is 4-way and 8-way, and there are 10 rounds in each event. And so how people score is they have a designated set of formations to perform, which are judged on video, and as many as they perform correctly and cleanly that can be scored within the allotted time, then they compete against each other on points, so they get a point per formation.
15 teams took part in the 10 rounds of the 4-way competition. As soon as the formations for each round were announced, the teams got together to dirt dive, practicing the moves and permutations they must make in the free-fall competition. Each team must follow the strict pattern of moves drawn up by the judges. Some of the teams practice the moves and changeovers in the car park on improvised skateboards. Each member of the team must memorise their own moves and the part they have to play.
Ready, set, go!
Once the aircraft's off the ground, the practice is done. The members of the team are left to their own thoughts. Heather Leach is a member of the Spider 4-way team.
Now here we are in the plane, just waiting for the standby command to come up from the ground. It's radio locked to the pilot. Gary's climbing out of the plane. We're all getting as close to him as possible to get a really tight exit. There we go. The first formation is called a side body. 2 people are holding hands with the other 2 people docked on their sides. We've now split into pairs and we're rotating through 360 degrees. Here we were having a bit of trouble with our height. We were about 10 feet above the other couple. That was called a Marquis. We're now coming in for a monopod. I'm on the front of the formation there, and now I'm flying round to form another monopod. This is called a bipull, where two of us have to come in backwards, but we both came in a bit eagerly and crashed legs. Bob's coming in now, and we get the bipull, rather a scrappy one. Now again, flying in pairs round for a donut, but we'd run out of time here. It was 2,500 feet, so we had to track away from each other and open our parachutes.
The events are video recorded. The judges sit in darkened silence, scrutinising each team's performance.
There's a subtle difference between 4 and 8-way. Although the 4-way moves extremely fast, you've only got 3 other people to keep your eyes on to make sure things are complete before you move on. The 8-way moves a lot slower, but before you can actually move on to your next scoring point, you have to check that all 16 grips are complete. So it's very much a team effort with everybody working together.
How important is winning in these nationals?
For a professional competitor, it is very important because they spend a hell of a lot of time and money training to get to the point where they can compete here. And a qualifying team will go abroad to represent Britain at an international event.
This year, around 1 in 10 of the competitors were women, but no allowances were made. For the first time, an all-woman accuracy team took part. They got the bronze medal. Chris Clements was a member of the team.
If there's a choice between a male getting into the jump or a female getting into it, because it's the men that are choosing the people, they will more often take the man than the woman. And so you've really got to battle through and let them know that you are of the qualifications and the standard to do that job every bit as good as the man.
Despite any militaristic and macho overtones, a great number of women have been attracted to the sport. And when women compete against the men on an individual basis, they do well.
The female participation in the sport should really be encouraged. You know, it's not really a sexist sport, but I don't think that the girls get very little slack at all. There's no leeway given to them, and the more the merrier.
The events that I've just finished at the Nationals, they have a ladies' category separate from the men's category, which I think can only serve to encourage more women to compete and therefore get their standard up. Whereas a lot of the time, if they're competing solely against the men, it can be difficult for them. They'll say, well, I'm never going to beat these guys, not because they're men, but because perhaps they've been in the sport longer and got more experience at it. So having women's competition will encourage people to get up to that level.
Plans will be shortly going ahead for next year's championships. More competitors, sponsors and free-falling judges with cameras are expected. Meanwhile, Zaphod, winners of the 4-way, and Flash Trash, winners of the 8-way events, will be representing Britain in the World Cup meet in France at the end of September. Aren't paying a penny. They're doing it not only for kicks, but for charity. This year, MenCap, the mental health charity, will pay for you to make your first jump, if you can find sponsorship for it. Pat Walters is the chief instructor at Halfpenny Green.
We had 300 sponsored students last year. We're up to now this year, I think we have maybe 100.
But do you think that in general it's going up?
I don't think we'll get the same proportion that we got last year. We had 1,140 first-timers last year and 300 of them was sponsored people.
I'm going to see the whites of your eyes.
In spite of the image that parachuting has, first jumps aren't dangerous. But that's due to the way that the training courses are organised and run. It's the instructors who keep the sport as safe as it is.
I'm responsible for everything on here where parachute is concerned, and airplanes and pilots, everything.
And obviously safety is one of the most important aspects.
Well, that's number one thing, that goes without saying. You've got to have eyes in your backside, if you pardon the expression.
So what about the people who are doing sponsored jumps? They come here, they want to raise money for a particular charity, like MenCap, and they're very interested in just getting the one jump over with. Perhaps they're not concentrating on the safety aspects as much as they should be.
Well, those are the people that we start to weed out towards the end of the course, and it's my prerogative at the end. If I don't think they can handle it, I won't let them jump.
Well, how can you tell?
You can tell whether they really want to do it or not, because what we simply do, we put another instructor with them, then we'll change instructors again, and if 2 instructors see the same fault in that person, we don't let them parachute. We stopped about 20 people from jumping last year for the simple reason that we didn't think that they could handle it.
The sponsorship scheme was dreamed up for 2 reasons. to raise money for charity and to fill empty places in parachute schools around the country. So even if you're still at school or on the dole, you can afford to take your first jump from 2,000 feet with a static line which automatically opens your canopy. But if your first concern is to raise money, is that the wrong reason to jump?
People wouldn't volunteer to do it unless they wanted to do a first jump course. We found out statistically from an analysis that we did with the first 500 people that took part that about 70 to 75% of the people were doing it to take advantage of the offer rather than help the charity that they were supporting.
Keep facing the pit!
This year, more people are taking part because they want to raise funds for MenCap statistically, as opposed to last year's programme which was run for Greenpeace. And in actual fact, this is being related in the amount of sponsorship money which is now flowing into MenCap, which is averaging about £170 per person.
As you make your first descent, novices are treated to some not-so-gentle advice from the landing zone instructors.
Keep your elbows in. Flatten your feet up. Flatten your feet up. Elbows in.
But although safe, not all landings are as soft as they should be. Then comes the moment when you realise you've made it back to Earth in one piece.
Reach blind dominoes.
Immediately after your first jump, nearly everyone says they'll take up parachuting as a sport, but unfortunately it doesn't happen.
The same quota of people come back for a second parachute jump following a sponsor parachute jump as do for an ordinary first jump course, which is about 15% for a second jump and down to less than 10% for a third jump and continue in the sport.
Go on, Fred.
Did you shout?
I screamed.
History.
Hello, and today you can see Janet...
Aria Falcons, who are the world's top freefall display team. Up till now, all my parachute jumps have been on a static line, which means that your parachute opens the moment you leave the plane. But falling for thousands of feet through space before your chute opens takes a lot of nerve. And this was really brought home to me when I watched the Falcons line up for a display at 9,000 feet over Liverpool. The wind buffeting in freefall is terrific, and keeping stable is vital. A hand or a leg out of place and this superbly balanced formation could end in chaos. This was parachuting with pinpoint accuracy into an arena barely the size of a football pitch at the Liverpool International Garden Festival. Back at No. 1 Parachute Training School, the home of the Falcons, I found myself at the end of a rope held by team coach Ali MacDonald. This is the freefall simulator, and as usual, Nigel Rogoff wasn't short of a few words of advice.
Your aim of the game is to fall straight the way down the barber's pole, no turning at all, no moving across the sky. Right, what we don't want is an involuntary turn to the left or to the right. So what do we do if we have this problem? Check your arm position, have a look at it. Okay, are my arms symmetrical? Look left and right. Okay, so if you do that now then, left and right, this will be, you'll be turning no faster than this. Okay?
Yes.
Are my legs up my backside? Are my legs tucked up out the way? Okay? So just have a quick think about that. You can't see your legs, you're going to have to consciously pull them up out the way. Check your arms again, they're starting to creep a little bit too far forward there. If you are still turning to the left, you can still counteract it by looking right. Look right, look towards me. Good, that might bring you round and stop you turning. Right? If all else fails and you're still starting to turn quite quickly there, you will go into the big X position. Good, legs nice and wide, arms nice and wide. Arms straight across the shoulders there, shoulder height. If that fails and you're still turning and it's starting to build up, you throw the delta position, Throw your arms back there, point the toes, keep your hands by your side, everything's symmetrical. That'll put you slightly in a forward momentum and take you back out of it again.
Right.
From that position, back up into the semi-frog again. That's good. And carry on.
Okay, Janet, two things that you must be aware of, and you were doing them okay there. You've got to be able to see your altimeters by glancing, and also by keeping your reserve thrust out, you will have this shape we were on about in the crew room yesterday, where you will fall face to earth. Two things very important. Just keep your hands out slightly. I know it's a bit tight in this harness.
It is.
So from there, just one more glance at your altimeters. So I'm happy that you can see them. Now stick that reserve out. I want to see the big arch position. That's it, and arch that body well. Okay, that position's very fair. Good.
Right, we're now going to progress onto the operation of the mains parachute. Okay. Look for the mains handle. Come in for it and counteract with the other hand, as you've been shown before. That's good. And operate your mains and give it a good push. It's a two-handed job. That's good. Well done. And lower down there. Okay. Remember to go through your safety count. 1,000, 2,000.
I wasn't going to be alone for my first freefall because, as well as Nigel and Ali, experienced falcons Rod Crawford, Rex Pritchard and Simon Perry would be there as well to film it with small cine cameras mounted onto their helmets. So many in the group meant a full blackboard briefing and Ali's speciality, the dirt dive.
Ready, set, go! Okay, holding it there then. Right, Rex, video camera. Stills over there, Rod. You also in position there, Simon. When the shake comes through then, when we're happy we're level, we'll shake Janet. Nigel comes on. I then have the cine camera on Janet. Coming in then slowly to join the link. In the link, panning round slowly onto Nigel. Two cine cameras behind us and the stills. Getting anything you can, Rod. Any shot of Janet face on. Slow pan back onto you then, Janet. 5,000 feet going through. Move away for the pool. And at 4,000 feet, height finder does not work. Going through 3.5, Nigel will operate your main parachute. Okay then, you have pulled at 3.5. Nigel, if you can pull very soon afterwards within safety, the two cine men will go down a bit further. Rod, you've pulled off at 4.5, well out the way, and I will go all the way down to 2.5.
I was going to jump with a PB-1 Mark 6 steerable parachute, and Nigel gave it a thorough inspection.
We've checked the harness itself, everything's okay. The most important things that we've been checking, that's the automatic opening device is primed and the pins are not bent. We've put the pack opening bands on and they've been primed also. Turn it round now. Straight away, you can locate that your height finder is on the front, on the left-hand side, mains handle on the right here.
Yeah. Okay. It was a snug fit. I just wish I felt as comfortable inside.
It shouldn't be too tight, should it?
No, not too tight, as long as it's comfortable. Okay, let's stick the reserve on now then.
The height finder would open my parachute automatically at 4,000 feet. If it failed, Nigel would be there to pull the chute open for me. Nigel and Ali looked as anxious as I felt, and these last-minute checks were very thorough indeed. At RAF Bryce Norton, it was a good day for parachuting, with high cloud and a light breeze. And as we prepared for takeoff, I hoped the weather was as good at the dropping zone, 16 miles away.
17, continue. Continue, T2. Rotate. Stay fine, speed. Flaps up, please. Traffic.
No sooner had we got airborne than Nigel was trying to put me at my ease.
Once you're out there, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Okay, you've got a parachute on your back there. Remember to go through your safety counts when your parachute opens. Check your canopy, grasp your toggles, and then locate the DZ. Right, the name of the game is to try and land on Western on the green. I'm sure Flight Lieutenant Griffiths will put us out in the green.
From 12,000 feet, the DZ, or dropping zone, would look like a postage stamp. A few seconds late jumping out, and we'd miss it altogether.
Remember, Nigel will be quite near you on the canopy. He will point out the DZ if you're going the wrong way. But you will see it. Big grass field with a sand pit in the middle and a nice big smoke flare in the middle. Make your way towards it, get over the DZ safely, and then do your turn and hold. If you think you're going to back off the DZ too far, then just hold. If you look down and think, I'm not going to make that sandpit, turn again and run towards it. Okay? Have a good one, Janet.
Over 2 miles below, at RAF Weston on the Green, the smoke flare showed the direction of the wind, which was just within safety limits. I didn't know it, but the news of my jump was out, and everyone on the station was straining to get a glimpse of the big moment. For freefall, everyone jumps from the cargo ramp at the back. It's the safest way, but to me, the Hercules had suddenly become a frightening chasm of noise.
So nice and tight. Good. Remember this for the rest of your life.
I could hardly hear Nigel over the din of the engines. The importance of Ali's rehearsals were really paying off. Everyone knew what to do and when to do it, without having to talk about it. This was a horrifying moment. Nigel wanted to show me the DZ, but through the haze I could barely make it out. I felt as if my insides and knees were going to collapse. The waiting was terrifying. Like all the Falcons, Nigel saw how frightened I was and tried to cheer me up. Only seconds to go. I was so scared, I hardly knew what I was doing. I was hurtling earthwards at 120 miles an hour, and it was fantastic. Nigel was clinging on to me for all he was worth, but I forgot about my feet. They were straight up instead of bent behind me, and they sent me tumbling. I went into the big X position to regain control. My parachute was about to open and I couldn't stop turning. Nigel dived back to straighten me out. All around me, the square canopies of Ali, Nigel and the others were bursting open. I remembered Nigel's joke about not missing the airfield.
Have a good look round. Okay, there's the DZ. You can see it right in front of me. So, straighten up, run into it. I don't know what happened in the flight. We lost early. It was incredible. I couldn't hear anything. Pulling down. Let's try. Right, pull round a bit. Pull round. Correct up. I don't think I have my legs up. I think I forgot totally to put my legs up.
200 feet to go, and Falcon Mike Milburn was talking me down.
I can see someone landing.
Okay, Janet, turn into it now then. You're doing fine. Good. Right hand toggle, pull down. Pull down. Pull the right hand toggle. You're doing fine.
Janet, just coming there, that's good. Just coming there. Well done.
I was down without a bruise, and I could hear Nigel screaming with delight.